Yeah.
When these couples come to you, do they talk about their intimate life, about their sex life with you for you to understand them better?
Absolutely. Everything. Therapy is a safe space, and you will be surprised the kind of intimate details people even share with you. They share about their sex lives, their libidos, their fantasies,
Mm.
kings, whatever you have to call it, right?
Mm.
And but that's what it is. There's so much shame attached to these things that we always think that, oh my god, it is this huge taboo to talk about. But the therapy is a safe space where people talk about everything.
And it should be like that,
Of
right?
course, it
Yeah.
has to be like that, because if you can't talk about these things, right, there is no point, because you've probably not found the right fit.
Right.
You know.
And just before, we were also discussing when we say sex, the usual thought is intercourse, but
Yeah.
they are different things, right?
Yeah, honestly.
How important is sex or having regular intercourse? How important it is for a good relationship in a couple?
I think yes. I mean, the definition of sex is very different from people, right? A lot of people can't have intercourse, but what they do is still considered sex, right? So sex is definitely, intercourse means one thing, but sex means very different thing to different people, right?
So when you say can't have sex means?
No, kind of sex is like the same sex couples or whatever,
Right, huh.
right? Like what sex is different for everybody.
Hmm.
And I think personally, sex is very important in a relationship. And I think
You mean intercourse is very important?
sex is
Okay.
very important.
Okay.
And your definition of sex, whatever that may be intercourse, that may be foreplay, whatever that is, that's very, very important. And I think everybody's libido is very different. Sometimes your libido is also impacted by your generational trauma, a trauma you may have, right? Any emotional blockages, your hormones, it's your mind and body connecting, right? At the end of the day, it's a way to be intimate and connect with your partner. So it may look different for everybody. So when people come to me and say, what's the right frequency? And to that, I say it depends, relationship to relationship, what the right frequency is, because it's where you and your partner meet.
Right.
And
we also discussed about the baggage in a relationship. The more the baggage, the lesser the frequency.
Yes. So what tends to happen initially, you don't know a person a lot, right? So there's a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of this person can, this person will complete me. This person will balance me out in some way. And it's, of course, this person's new to you. The attraction is there. So sex is very easy, but through the years of a marriage, the more you get to know somebody, the more misunderstood you feel in the relationship, the more miscommunication, the more issues you bury under the carpet, I think your emotional baggage increases, because of which it's much harder. It gets much harder often to have sex with your partner through the years, is what I've seen at my clinic, right?
And also practically, people do say that it can be boring as well, because so much is available outside and then with the same person.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when you are a parent, or when you've seen your partner in all forms, you've seen them sick, you've seen them, panic, you've seen them in parent mode, you've seen them with baby food all over themselves, right? It is hard to go in and out, to switch in and out of that. But at the same time, emotional baggage, what I see, plays a big role in couples. So a lot of couples come to me and they say, we're happy, but we've not had sex in 5 years. And I look at them and I say that, okay, and when we unravel through couples sessions and or marital counseling, and we figure that no, their happiness is very, there was something pulling them apart. The years of emotional baggage did get to them, because of which it affected your sex life. At the end of the day, human beings want to have sex to connect, to feel intimacy, right? And intimacy can be felt through looking into your partner's eyes, right? Which is again something that happens lesser over the years, but nobody talks about that. People talk about, oh, we're not having sex. But when was the last time you looked into your partner's eyes and you were genuinely present with them? So that also
So some
happens
people
less.
would be very good at these things, looking into the eyes and talking, praising each other, spending time with each other, not having sex. How would their relationship turn out to be?
I think depends on the person. If a person, depends on what your version of intimacy is, right? See, everybody at the end of the day wants to feel seen and heard, right? If my partner is holding my hand, looking into my eyes, and but sex is again a very important part of being seen and heard. You're seeing the rawest version of each other, right? So it's another form of intimacy. And at the end of the day, let's not forget that we all here because of sex,
Yeah.
right? Procreation is a biological mechanism that is ingrained in us. So it's a very important part of intimacy,
Yeah.
right?
And you're so right. So, one of my friends who would be in her 40s and, absolute doing great in her professional life, like a corporate honcho. And she just happened to tell me, like, आजकल sex कौन करता है? And I paused for a few seconds. I didn't know the answer. But what is it exactly?
So I think a lot of people tell themselves, they go into a sense of when people betray them, I'll be honest, and I'm not talking about a friend here or generalizing this, but what I tend to see in my practice is when people betray your trust or misunderstand you a lot, or you've had hard relationships, you become very hyper independent, and you say that, okay, I don't need intimacy. I don't need that kind of intimacy to survive. I have my work, I have my life. That's it. Right? So it's almost like that fear of being vulnerable.
And one is that, and also, the city life, Bombay, Delhi, and people are really so busy. And so much is happening on social media. People are there all the time on their Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram. But time ही नहीं बचता.
Actually, you'll be surprised that I think people have a lot of sex, to be honest, because of casual sex is very in, and
Yes.
it's very prominent. But I do feel that again, you're being intimate, it depends where it comes from. It's just to fulfill a biological need, it's fine. But I think a lot of people have casual sex with the idea of, okay, they actually want to connect, they actually want to be intimate. But what that does actually, Shraddha, is it makes you uh, feel less worthy. And I'll tell you what I mean. A lot of people will come and jump at me like, what is she saying, right? But the truth is that, again, it's a quick fix. It's a quick fix that you feel will fill that void. A lot of people use casual sex to fill a void that they feel. And they truly want intimacy, they truly want to connect, they truly want to be vulnerable. And it gives them a little bit of that for a while. It makes them feel seen, heard for a while. But it makes them feel more depleted after of what they don't have.
Okay.
So the casual sex takes you on a high, but once it ends, it takes you on the lowest low.
Right, I understand. So people are having more of casual sex, but not a married couple who are been in a relationship for years.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So there it's diminishing, here it's increasing because of, course, dating apps.
And I've heard people who have meaningless sex say that, it's great, like till when I'm having sex it's great, but the after of it, I feel like absolute shit.
Why?
Again, like I said, they use it to feel better about themselves.
So is it because there is no real attachment, no love?
Yes,
that's why
yes. As human beings, we seek that attachment. We seek love. It's just like sex is a biological need. I was telling you about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where sex is literally a fundamental need, like food, shelter, water. But so is on that pyramid. So is attachment. So is intimacy. So is love. All of this, right?
Even for men, because usually,
for a human
we have so
being.
many men friends, like for us it's
even for men, love, attachment, intimacy is a very strong need. And like I said, a lot of men have been conditioned over the years to not emotionally express, so they're not in tune with their body a lot. So they may feel I'm craving sex, but it's the actual intimacy, love, attachment and feeling of home that they want, which is where ये situations का ज़माना, situationships का ज़माना आ गया, you know, where everybody's in a situationship. You don't want to commit, but at the same time, you still want the feeling of some kind of home where you're going back to one person.
Yeah.
You don't want to take that responsibility, but you want to get a lot of your needs, which is love, intimacy, sex, all of it fulfilled.